Well, hey, good afternoon, my wonderful, beautiful Facebook world. I am here with my dear friend and partner in business, Miss Marliee Marisich. And as some of you saw on my little intro, I want you, if you have ever experienced any of those things that I listed, or if you know someone who did, you might want to tag them in this post and get them watching this because, Marilee and I have done lots and lots of training together, and we've gone on live many a time, but never gone live and had her share her real story behind the little yellow pill and nerve 2 activation and what it's done. And as we were talking last night and she was sharing her story to me, I'm like, Marilee, it's time. You need to share that part of your story and your family's story with the world. And I want you to share with my world and with your world. And so I just want to welcome Marliee Marisich. She is a amazingly beautiful individual from the core of her being, shining out. And there has been some wake up in her body on a cellular level that has literally changed her life. And as a result, it's changed my life. And now we're both shouting about it because we're going to be changing a lot of lives in the future. So Marliee, will you honor us and share your story with us? And I think I dare to say it's a story that a lot of people have not heard before. So take it away, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Becki. Oh my goodness. I think a lot of times it is really about the story. We can look at science all day long, and certainly when we came into this product line, we dug in and did some serious research. One, to make sure it was legitimate, but two, how much is backing all of this. But then comes the stories. And that's really when you know how something is effective. It's the personal stories. And I'll tell you, to be honest, when I came across this product line, I literally made a decision because of the research and because of the statistics and the numbers and the success that I had seen from a story perspective. And an interesting little factoid here, when I was researching the product, I actually was seeing some videos of dogs and horses, animals that were having a response in their bodies when the cells, as Becki says, were waking up, and how that would respond. It was not a power of suggestion, it was legitimate. And so with that, knowing what this was doing, I made a decision to do this from a business perspective. And then I started experiencing the product. Oh my gosh. So what happened for us initially, we're talking about the little yellow pill, and it has rocked my world. A lot of you don't know my background and my story and some of the things maybe that I've dealt with. And it's funny because we all look at people and think, oh, their life looks so great and polished, and not knowing the backstory on it. But I had for years, and really starting very young age, dealt with depression and anxiety, and it developed into just chronic panic attacks and a panic disorder and anxiety disorder. And I struggled with it all the way through school. I struggled with it as a young adult, and it had gotten to a point when I was in my early 20s that it nearly shut me down. And I got to a point where, I know depression at its deepest pit. I know anxiety to the point where you are housebound and you cannot function. I know what that feels like. I know how drowning that's like. And it's crazy to think about it now, because that part of me is so different than who I am today and where I am today, that if you're listening to this story and you are saying, that's me, I just want to tell you there's hope. You do not have to live like that. You don't. And I wish that I had run across this product at that stage in the game. I didn't at that stage in the game, so I struggled for years with it. But it's kind of crazy when you run across something like this. From a business standpoint, I wanted to be involved with it because it honestly was a no-brainer. From that perspective, when you had a chance to be able to help a lot of people, I knew that from a product standpoint and a research standpoint, initially, I needed to be on this product, whether I felt results or not. From a preventative standpoint, that's a no-brainer. But I'll tell you what happened. Several weeks into starting to take the product, I was noticing all kinds of things. Day 3, I was literally telling my husband, I didn't realize I wasn't sleeping well until I started really sleeping well. I was maybe averaging 5 hours a night of sleep, but man, I started waking up refreshed every morning. I started to feel a sense of well-being, and that's the only way I can describe it. And if you've ever dealt with anxiety, depression, that's significant. So from that standpoint, I was realizing this is doing something on a cellular level, on a deep level. I was feeling the difference. But guys, I also, from the time I was 17, started dealing with migraines, and they had become chronic for me. When you're diagnosed chronic level migraines, it means that you're dealing with them 15 plus days a month. And I would average between 15 and 20, 22 days a month of either the onset of a migraine or a full-blown migraine. And guys, it became my norm. And it's funny what we start to handle and stuff that we put up with, and we look at it and say, man, this is just normal life. And so I just kind of grin and bear it, get through the day, and just, you know, at some point in my life, hopefully these will slow down. But I had been working with doctors even at the Mayo Clinic. I had done every kind of treatment you can imagine, from acupuncture to chiropractic to you name it. I tried everything, and I could not get relief from them. 2 weeks on this product, migraines stopped. I am now 2 years on this product and have not had a migraine. I could not believe it. And literally, I felt almost like I was discovering this, not as a guinea pig, but at the beginning, I'm discovering what this was doing. And so I'm messaging other people that started taking the product. And I was just, if you saw my text messages 2 years ago, you would read, has anybody else noticed that has anybody dealt with migraines? Migraines are stopping for me. What in the world? I did not expect that. That was a very unexpected thing for me. And other people were responding as we were putting customers together, people experiencing the product for the first time were sharing, this is happening for me too. And so all kinds of things. Literally what happens here is you're reducing your oxidative stress. And the oxidative stress is connected to so many different things in our bodies. And so whatever that means to you in your particular body, for me, it meant migraine headaches. Yeah. And so that literally was a game changer for me. Other things that I have had relief from is like joint pain, former injuries. I had a knee injury and a shoulder injury that I've been taking ibuprofen like crazy, and no more issues with that. Mm-hmm. No more crackling and popping in my knees as I walk up and down stairs. I'm in my late 40s now, and so there's funny the things again that you settle for, but all of those things started to reverse itself. And so along the way, we've been able to introduce this to a lot of people, and I have, you know, not to mention names at all, but some people that are very close to me that one of them in particular reluctantly started taking the product to just kind of be a support, you know, to support me. And the turnaround in this person's life has been so significant. It's hard to talk about without crying. And I don't mean to get emotional here, but when you see someone's life turn around again with depression and anxiety and chronic pain from a back injury and all kinds of issues. This wasn't my husband, it was somebody very close to me. When you see how their life is turned around, now 2 years later, they're out absolutely doing tons of athletic things. They've lost 75 pounds of weight. They literally are a new person because of something that we discovered. It blows my mind. Yes, Becki.
Share with me what's going on. Sorry if it's something. But tell me what was going on when you were talking about this dear close person close to your heart was kind of like trapped in a house. I mean, it was that kind of going on in their body, not only emotionally, but anxiety and panic. And then it got to be colitis or something. And that we were talking about if you've had gut health. And then the other question is, share what what this NRF2 activation we're talking about, little yellow pill we've talked about, but what else is going into your body and that this loved one's body that was changing her life?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, it started with that NRF2 activation, NRF2 activation, and then it evolved into NRF1 activation, which restores the mitochondria of the cells. So we're talking cellular level stuff with natural products. Amazing science. It's just groundbreaking science behind it. But when you see what it's doing on that level, what it meant, what were the benefits? Restful sleep, depression lifting, anxiety lifting, stomach issues. Along this journey and over the last 2 years, a probiotic was introduced, once called ProBio, and it's absolutely phenomenal. They ditched the old probiotic they were using, spending tons of money on, to this one that's very affordable, incredibly effective, and it changed the game. No more stomach issues. Clarity in their thinking, absolute, when that stuff lifts, you stop taking the medications that you were taking prior to that, helping with the pain here, and then you're taking medications to medicate a symptom and a side effect from another medication, and that's what had happened in their world. And when you see that happening and that was the person that they were before, and you start to see this unveiling and this person become healthy and whole again, it's so significant. How can we not talk about this? Truly, right? How can we not talk about it? Right, Becki?
Right. Oh, I think that's a beautiful thing about what this is about. And we're created as people to love people. It's in us. There's not very many people I know that says, I don't like people. You love your mother. You're here, right? Because somebody birthed you. You love your children if you have them. You love your siblings. You love people. You love friends. And it's so beautiful when you see somebody's life begin to have a transformation. And why? Because of the environment we live in of stress, the environment we live in of disease, the environment we live in of just pollution and pesticides and the things that are literally attacking our bodies, not only on the outside, but on a cellular level from the very foods we eat. And our bodies are dying at a faster rate than they absolutely were created to. And you see literally, and those of you that are listening don't know what NRF2 activation is, it literally is a 5-herb little yellow pill that we talk about that literally goes on and to a dark place. See your house as a house that all the lights have been turned out because of oxidative stress and free radical damage. Those of you that understand that language, it has literally shut out the lights of all of our cells and shut down their ability to function in a whole fashion. It switches the lights back on, wakes our bodies back up on a cellular level, and we begin to self-repair. All these things that Marliee is talking about right now, all of those things were not as a result of taking this. It wasn't as a result of even taking ProBio or taking NRF1 or NRF2 activators, mitochondria health. It's a result of switching the body back on, and guess what happens? The body begins the self-repair process, which incredibly is more powerful than any drug or drug interaction. In fact, like Marliee was saying, that usually causes a series of other problems that then the doctors say, well, I've got a drug that'll cover that problem that was actually caused by the other drug. And because those two drugs were put together, now they're causing this problem. Let's give you another one for that problem. And it's a spiral deep into the pit where the body is like, hello, knock, knock. I was created to repair myself, but I just have an environment I can't do it. So how many years ago now, Marliee, was this 5 herbs put together that literally tells your cell to wake back up, wake up, get back to work, go, be created and do the job that you are created to do. And things are absolutely happening. And Marliee and I were talking, we're saying, I think there's 20,000 people in our immediate world of people that we are, have a reach to that have begun this journey in 2 years. right around the 20,000 mark in a team that we're now a part of called Team Heart. And as a corporate, that's a lot of lives being changed in a short amount of time. And that's just growing exponentially because people are like, I love you enough to share. And Marliee and I are both in the position. Today wasn't my story, but I've got a story too of how my body woke up and began to function again. I can't not share this. We cannot not share this. And that's what's happening and how we're doing today. So Marliee, this is just so exciting to hear these stories and to hear that's just your story. These are you're within your little reach of how it's changed your life. And yeah, anything else you want to add?
No, and I love the way you described it. Really, this is not a miracle pill, but it activates a miracle body. I love that explanation. It really is what it is. And we realize that it is, it is our purpose. It is our passion to share it. When you come across something that is so significant, it's kind of crazy. You hear all day long, if you're on Facebook, if you have friends or anybody in your world at all, you realize a lot of people struggle. So many people struggle with depression, anxiety, chronic pain, migraine headaches, just all
stomach issues, because of the stress of life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so true. And I can tell you this standing on this side now, I can tell you so much of it is needless suffering. It's pointless suffering because there is a solution. And I wished I had known about this years and years ago, but man, am I grateful that I have it now. And it really is, I tell people this all the time, if I could download my brain into yours and just download these stories that we've had a chance to be a part of. Of course, it started with my own personal world, my most close, dear loved ones. Everyone in my closest world uses these products. Every one of them has a significant story. And from that, we've been able to help share something that has been a game changer. And when I say that, I mean a game changer, giving life back. Taking somebody that had just kind of, squirreled away and suffered to now being at that point where they have life again. This product literally is clinically proven to extend life by 7%. And it's no wonder when you realize what it's doing from a cellular level, it's doing so much to help you in your everyday process. But guys, it's not just about giving a quality of life, it's giving a quantity of life. And how can you not shout that from the mountaintop? So right. It's so significant. Yes, we unbelievably grateful to have found this and unbelievably grateful to be able to share it.
Mm-hmm. And so from a standpoint where we stand, first of all, when you know that what we understand what we're standing on here with this NRF2 activation and little yellow pill, which is the NRF2 activator. And for those of you, you need to hear this. There's many clinical studies, 26 to be exact. 23 of them are published. More will be coming. That when a university says this, and of the state that Marliee and I are from, when you have a university, they took this little yellow pill, and why aren't they taking all these bottles off the shelf in the vitamin stores? They took this and did a 1-year study, and in their study, they said and quoted that NRF2 activation, this is exactly their quote, NRF2 activation is perhaps the most extraordinary therapeutic and the most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. That is a direct quote taken from page 15 of a 28-page study done by Washington State University. And when you have a major university take something and have that quote taken about something that is going on in our life and in our bodies now that we get to share, you're standing on something big. And so we're amassing not only people that want to have health prevention for their lives and their future, but wake their bodies up now. And then we are gathering people that say we want to share this too. So it's all about what's happening, because I want this to be exponential. I want my kids are on it. My grown kids are on it. I want this to go into their generations and the generations beyond. And I want to be around for many more generations. So this is my health prevention, slowing down my aging process of what I'm doing as well. So to you today, if someone has loved you enough to share this video with you, you get back to them and say, send me more information. And if you are somebody that knows Marliee or knows me, and you're listening to this today, and you're like, okay, that's it. It's time to hear more about this. You let us know, and we're going to send you some more information about it. As a matter of fact, this little power duo here, the two of us, we're going to be doing some live presentations that are about just the science and the product for the next 3 days, 4 o'clock, 7 p.m. for the next 3 days on live Zoom presentations. That's going to give the whole history of what we're talking about. This isn't an infomercial for that, but I just had to throw that out there in case you're like, going, I need more. Well, you can today in about 30 minutes, as a matter of fact. But Marliee, thank you for being so vulnerable, sharing your heart. Can you see that? Can you see why I love her so much? You know, the passion that this woman has for life, for people, the care and the love that she has. Well, whoever's sharing you with in this video loves you just as much, and they want this information in your hands too. I thought this story was worth sharing, and I hope it was worth listening to. Marliee, mwah, thank you. I just love you to bits and bits and bits, my dearest, and just, wow, what a blessing I have to have a dear, dear friend and a business partner as this. So love you all, Facebook world. Thank you for joining us today, and have a beautiful afternoon, and be sure to get back to the person that might have shared this with you or talk to us. We're here for questions. Love you all. Bye, Marliee.
Bye-bye.